We have spent around 11 videos building up the technical foundation. What LLM are, how they trained, how they generate text. Now you should stop watching AI and start directing it. This is this video. It will be different than others. This isn't theory, it's a practical skill that makes all that theory useful. Prompt engineering. And let me be clear about what this is and isn't. This isn't tricks or hacks or magic phrases. It's applied understanding of how LLM actually works. Once you understand the mechanism, the technique actually become obvious. Here is a question um, that we have for today. If an LLM only predict the next token, which is we have known from the previous videos, why does how you ask matters so much? The answer is that prompt shape probability space. You are not giving commands to a search engine, you are setting up the context that influence every token that follows. Most people think prompting is asking nicely. That's wrong. Prompting is constraining the space of possible outcomes. Look at these two prompts. On left, it's explain probability. Explain gravity. Right? On the right, you have explain gravity to a 12-year-old using a story about a ball and a trampoline, and also keep it under 100 words. Same model, wildly different output. Why? The vague prompt could go anywhere. One paragraph, 10 pages, technical equations, or simple analysis. The model has to guess what you want. The constraint prompt narrow everything. Vocabulary is actually sort of age appropriate in the second one, right? Structure is a story, there is a specific analogy, and the length is defined. You have shaped the probability space before generating even start, right? Generation even start. Here is a mental model. Your prompt is like a bumper on a bowling lane. No bumpers and the ball can go anywhere, including the gutter. Tight bumpers keep it on the track. You don't choose the specific pin gets hit, but you shape the path towards the target. There are three core techniques that cover most of the use cases. Let's look at it. Zero prompting or zero shot. Just ask directly. Summarize this article in 3 bullet points. No examples needed. This works because the model has seen millions of similar patterns during training. Few shot. You provide examples to follow. Show patterns you want and then give new input. Happy becomes glad, sad becomes unhappy. Now, what does angry become? Chain of thoughts. You force step by step reasoning. Solve this step by step. This slows down the probability jumps and often improve the accuracy of a complex task. Here is a mental model. You don't explain the rules of the game to a child, you know, by reciting the rule book. You should show them how to play. LLM learn pattern during training and they follow pattern during inference. Your examples and instructions activate those learned patterns. Let's see how zero shot works. Zero shot works because the model has absorbed millions of similar patterns. Let's look at a real example. Classification. Classify this review as positive, negative, or neutral. The food was amazing, but the service was slow. Mixed, neutral, right? The model knows what classification means from training. Right? That's zero shot. Extraction. Extract the data, location, and price from this text that is given here. Give it a paragraph, it pulls out the structured data. Translation. Translate to French, right? Simple and direct and effective. Rewriting. Make this email more professional. The model understands the formality from millions of examples. Use zero shot for common task where the pattern is obvious: summarization, translation, classification, simple Q&A. The model has seen these structures thousands of times. No example needed because the training data already provided them. When zero shot isn't precise enough, show the model exactly what you want with an example. Look at this. We want to convert company name into stock tickers. So Apple Inc. become AAPL, Microsoft Corporation become MSFT, Amazon Inc. become AMZN. Now convert Tesla Motors. The model sees the pattern, full company name arrow and then a ticker symbol, and continues it. Output would be TSLA. Tone matching. Tone matching works the same way. Show a formal or to a casual conversation, then give a formal phrase. The model matches the established pattern. Custom formats too, right? Show what a movie pitch taglines look like with example, and it generates a new one in the same style. Aliens in space, no one can hear you scream. Jaws, don't go in the water. So Inception would be your mind is the scene of the crime. Right? So some more practical tip around this, right? That use not more than 2 to 5 examples. More isn't always better. And also more examples use up the context also. Make examples diverse to show the patterns broadly. Keep formatting consistence between the examples. And put your hardest example last, right before the test case. So the pattern is fresh. Adding adding think step by step dramatically improves accuracy on the reasoning task. This was a major discovery. Look at this math problem. A store sells 3 shirts at $25 each and 2 pants at $40 each. What's the total? In the first one, it's $145, right? It's completely wrong here, right? So, but in the second one, you add a think step by step, and then you get a step by step way it calculated, and then you get a total that is 155, which is correct. Watch this animation and see how it's unfold. First, identify what we need, then calculate shirt, then pants, then add together. Each step generates tokens that constrain the next one. Now, let me be honest about something. The model isn't actually thinking in any deep sense. It's generating the reasoning shaped text, but that's enough to help. By forcing intermediate token, you slow down the probability jumps that cause error. It is like showing work in math exam. The process itself catches the mistake. Chain of thought works across many domains, not just math. Let's look at some examples. Logic puzzle. If all roses are flowers and some flowers fade quickly, can we say all roses fade quickly? Think step by step, right? The model breaks down the logical relationship before concluding. Right? Here you have to understand that it is thinking, it is narrowing down the probability space as it go along, as it's taking each step to analyze the arguments. Code debugging. Walk through this function line by line and identify the bug. So here line by line is important. It is forcing the chain of thought thinking. Tracing execution before jumping to any conclusion. Decision making, list pros and cons and then analyze. The list pros and cons and then analyze is sort of pushing for chain of thought. That is force structured thinking before doing any kind of recommendation. Text analysis is like, Is this review sarcastic? Analyze the tone first. That is like, for example, here, oh, great is sort of a defining signal, right? So examine the signal before doing the classification. Here are phrases that triggers like chain of thoughts. Think step by step. Let's work through this. Break this down. Before answering, analyze. Walk me through reasoning. Any phrase that requires intermediate steps. Modern APIs separate prompts into distinct roles. And understanding this change how you prompt. For example, the system prompt is actually what sets the character for the entire conversation. Look at this example. You are a patient maths tutor for middle school student. Use simple language. When student make a mistake, don't give answer. Ask guiding questions instead. Now, user comes with its own prompt. Say what's 15% of 80? I got answer 8. Tell me whether it is right. It's user is trying to ask. The assistant response follow the system prompt character that we have already given in the system prompt. It doesn't just correct a mistake, it asks the guiding questions. Good try. Let me ask, if 10% of 80 is 8, what would be the 5%? What would 5% be? The system prompt influence every single response. It's not act this only once. It's be this character for the whole conversation. That's why role setting is so powerful. You are changing the baseline probability for all output that follows. Let me show you some well-designed system prompts for different use cases. Code review. You are a senior software engineer. Focus on security issue, performance problem, readability. Be direct but constructive. Always explain why something is a problem, right? You can see that you are creating a persona here. You are creating a character of a code reviewer. What all that a person looks at while reviewing a code. Same with writing editor. Improve clarity. What is the persona or the character? Improve clarity without changing the author's voice. Suggest cut for wordiness. Flag unclear passage with questions. Customer support. Be friendly, right? Be friendly but efficient. You're creating a character. You're creating a persona here. You need to be a friendly but an efficient customer support. If you don't know something, say so, right? So you're again telling, like, if you don't know something, just be upfront about it. Always offer to escalate complex issue. You're also giving direction when that persona doesn't know something, what type of action that persona takes afterwards. Data analyst. First, clarify what question you are answering. State assumptions explicitly. Present finding with confidence interval. Here's a formula. Role is something like who you are, right? Task is what you do. And then constraint is how you do it. Tone tells like style of communication. And these 4 elements create an effective prompt. Let me give you a pattern that works across many situations. First, specify output format. Respond in JSON with with keys as name, age, and city. Right? Use Markdown with H2 header. Return only answers, no explanation. Format constraints are powerful because they are unambiguous. Similarly, you can define your audience, explain it to a 5-year-old, write for a senior software engineer. You're telling how your audience is, what information your audience might know, and perceive the information, and accordingly, give the information to the user. The reader is busy, executive. So be brief, right? Audience shapes vocabulary, depth, and length automatically for us. Then you can set clear constraint in, like for example, in a 3 sentence or less, correct? Without using word innovatives, maximum 200 words. These are all constraints that we are telling to be to work under. Specific numbers work better than some vague words like briefly. Sometimes you can use negative instructions as well. Don't include disclaimers. Avoid corporate jargon. Never start with I, right? Something saying what not to do is clear than saying what to do, right? Sometimes you can give what not to do better than what to do. Now let me show you techniques for more complex tasks. Persona plus task. Like for example, you are a skeptical investor, analyze the startup pitch and identify 3 big mistakes. The persona shapes how the task needs to get approached. Second one is iterative refinement. Write a tagline, then critique it, then improve it based on your critique. Show all 3 versions. This forces self-correction with a single response. Structured output or template. Give like a structure in how you will want to get the output. Analyze in this format, right? Summary, then pros, then cons, and then give your verdict. Template ensures completeness and consistency in the output. Multi-perspective analysis. This is like argue on the both side. First, the strongest case for, and then the against, and then you balance your assessment. This reduces a one-sided bias that could seep into your the answers that you get. Here is a key insight. Complex task works better at multiple simple prompt. Instead of writing a saying like write a business plan for me, try a sequence. First, identify the target market. Then list the competitor and their weaknesses. Third, define our unique values. Now write the executive summary. Each step feeds the next one. Prompting has real limits. Understanding them prevents frustration. Vague instructions make it better. How? Do you want me to make it shorter, funnier, more formal? The model has to guess, and guesses vary. Contradiction. Be concise but thorough. This often conflicts. The model picked one unpredictably. Impossible ask. Like for example, tell me tomorrow's stock price. No prompt can create knowledge. You cannot create knowledge from LLM. The knowledge that doesn't exist in the training data, you cannot create it. Here's the fundamental limit. Prompting cannot create knowledge the model doesn't have. It can only surface and organize what already there from the training. You are steering a car but not building one. When prompt fail, here's how to debug. First, check for ambiguity. Could your instruction be read in 2 ways? Second, add concrete examples of what you want. Third, break the task into smaller steps. Fourth, try different phrasings like synonyms, activate different patterns and examples, right? To do all those things. Fifth, reduce constraint if the model seems to be stuck. Okay, let's make everything as connected. Prompt engineering work because prompt constrains the probability distribution of all possible responses, guiding the model towards desired pattern through examples, instruction and context without creating new knowledge. Okay, let's unpack this sentence. Prompt constraint probability. That means they narrow what likely to come next in the next token. They guide towards pattern, means examples and instructions activate the learned structure. And crucially, they don't create a new knowledge. They just surface what already there from the training. If that makes intuitive sense to you, you truly understand prompting. You're not just using some tricks, you understand why they work. Now we have been working with raw pre-trained models shaped only by our prompts. But ChatGPT isn't just pre-trained model. It's been aligned to be helpful and harmless. How did that happen? In the next video, we'll cover alignment and reinforcement learning from human feedback. Why ChatGPT refuses certain requests, how human preference reshapes output, and what alignment can and cannot do. This is crucial for understanding both the safety and the limitation of modern AI. Also, next time you get a bad response from ChatGPT, don't blame the model. Take your prompt. You now have the tools to fix it. See you in the next video.